Stranger Things creators already know how season 5 will end. Stranger Things is one of those shows that actually managed to accomplish what few have before or since, and that's scratch the edge of legendary status. The Creepy Chronicles of Hawkins, Indiana came out of nowhere in 2016 and blew people's minds with its sci-fi horror mixed with nostalgic references to the 1980s and, unsurprisingly, penetrated the Western zeitgeist and became water cooler TV, akin to the likes of Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. Even though it has been dark since 2019, the 4th season is almost upon us and the creators have come out saying that they already know how the 5th and final season will end. Let's get into it. Recap. Stranger Things is a show that has been missed during the global blight, lockdowns, and pandemonium. Since the show was unable to have production in any normal fashion during the couple of years after season 3 ended, it's understandable that plenty of folks may have forgotten where the show left off. So let's briefly recap and, of course, spoilers ahead for season 1, 2, and 3 of the show. Stranger Things is set in the crazy days of the 1980s in the single most unlucky fictional American town since Raccoon City, Hawkins, Indiana. Despite the fact that the setting means no one has smartphones or even computers yet, the small rural town has been the setting for a number of increasingly dark and shady scientific experiments that unfortunately caused a portal to open to a nightmarish parallel dimension known as the Upside Down. Permeating through almost the entire town by season 2, the Upside Down plays a host to a number of horrifying monsters that also just happen to be characters from a group of local kids' Dungeons and Dragons game. There's the Demogorgon, a disgusting walking body horror that takes people into the Upside Down to kill them and eat them. There are a number of its offspring, demo dogs, that are exactly what you'd expect them to be. And of course, the overarching villain of the whole show, the Mind Flayer, an enormous shadow creature that rules the Upside Down and the hive mind therein. Throughout the show, a series of increasingly insane horror stories play out that begin with youngster Will Byers disappearing into the Upside Down and being rescued by his friends Dustin, Mike, and Lucas with the help of local police chief Jim Hopper, and a mysterious young girl named Eleven who has psychic abilities. The Mind Flayer's possession of Will's body in season 2 leads to an all-out battle against the beast in season 3, with all of the kids, their older siblings, and plenty of others that have joined the cast since combining to bring down the Overlord, which by that point has created itself a giant body of dead rats and melted human flesh. Hopper and Eleven. Throughout the show, one of the most interesting relationships that builds is between Chief Hopper and Eleven, the girl with the psychokinetic superpowers. Eleven, or Elle, was born Jane Ives and was kidnapped and raised in a secret CIA project in Hawkins National Laboratory, where she was experimented on for her inherited psychokinetic abilities. Her mother was also experimented on and tortured until she lost her mind. Elle is able to see into the Upside Down, an ability that she uses to help the others find Will in the first season, but after she seemed to have disappeared in season 1 after destroying the initial Demogorgon, she was presumed dead. In season 2, it was revealed that she had not been killed and had ended up living with Chief Hopper in secret in his grandfather's old cabin. As she rejoined the group of friends, she eventually got into a relationship with Mike, one of the Dungeons and Dragons gang. In season 3, her constant romantic activity with Mike put a strain on her relationship with Hopper, who himself was also trying to get it on with Will's mother. However, during the Battle of the Starcourt Mall / secret Russian base of evil, Hopper was forced to sacrifice himself in the destruction of the Russian machine that was keeping the portal to the Upside Down open. Presumed dead, the last Elle saw of her father figure was in a letter he wrote to her, explaining his issues with her being in a relationship in a heart-wrenching moment that left a bittersweet taste to go with the salvation of Hawkins. However, in a massive twist, the final moments of the show saw some prisoners in Russia building a railway, and one of those prisoners is Hopper. So there may be yet a chance that the two will meet again. Not only that, but there's another secret lab somewhere with another original Season 1 style Demogorgon. What are those crazy Russians doing? Season 4 release date. So that about catches us up to date, though there are plenty of other cool characters and romances involved. But we don't have all day, right? Season 4 is finally on the way, and there are clearly a lot of big questions to answer. On February 17th, Netflix released an absolute ton of information about what's in store for the Hawkins crew, and while some of it is good news, some of it will leave you feeling a little bit upside down, if you'll pardon the pun. First, There's the release date, which is already very close indeed. The season is being split in half because of the sheer volume of the thing. Another benefit of the split is it mitigates the problems of the binge model that can actually harm a show's long-term relevance rather than help it, especially in these days of streaming wars. Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1 will be released on May 27th, just a couple of short weeks from the time of this video, and the second half will come 6 weeks later on the 1st of July. The show will set all the pieces in place for the eventual Season 5, a season that creators Matt and Ross Duffer say is to be the final season and that they already know how it will end. Knowing the ending already. It's always good when a creator or creators have a clear vision, like Vince Gilligan did when making Breaking Bad. It really helps the story to make more sense when the creator has a plan and doesn't just wing it like those behind the ill-fated Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy. Fortunately, the Duffer Brothers have admitted that they know what the ending will be like when Season 5 concludes Netflix's science fiction horror. The brothers even consulted Gilligan on how to end a long-running show, according to a source at SFX. While the ending is definitely in place, Matt Duffer did reveal that it has evolved as the characters have developed. He expanded a bit, saying that the ending still fits the rough sketch he and Ross pictured, but that it has become more interesting and exciting than originally envisioned by me and Ross, unquote. One thing is certain though, and that's that the brothers said we know what the ending is. It's conceivable that it changes, but I think it's unlikely because it's one of those endings that just feels and has always felt right, Matt said. And it also feels sort of inevitable. Then when you come up with it, you're like, oh yeah, well, that is absolutely what it has to be. In fact, a lot of this came out in an open letter that the Duffers wrote to fans of the show earlier this year. Speaking of Season 4, the duo said, it's coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. It's also the beginning of the end. 7 years ago, when we planned out the complete story arc for Stranger Things, at the time, we predicted the story would last just 4 to 5 seasons. It proved too large to tell in 4, but as you'll soon see for yourselves, we're now hurtling towards our finale. Season 4 will be the penultimate season, Season 5 will be the last. They carried on, saying, Stranger Things 4 was the most challenging season yet, but also the most rewarding one. Everyone involved is incredibly proud of the results, and we can't wait to share it with you. The pair have always stuck true to their plan and have never had any intention of dragging the show on for years and years. Producer Sean Levy in an interview said, we wouldn't want to stick around for one moment beyond that vision and the clarity of that voice. So rather than focusing on that sad day that happens, who knows when, the end of Season 5, I'll just once again reaffirm what I've told everyone, which is that it's been a long-ass wait for Season 4. But I swear to God, the world will realize it's worth it. Expect to see all your favorite characters from the show returning in just a few weeks as we enter the beginning of the end. What are you looking forward to most in the next season of Stranger Things?